stress in my head and I can't get it out. There I go, looking mad, making haters look down. Put your luck to the test and I bust to your chest. It's a fact and a mess, it's a way of dealing with a little stress. So don't trip, my baby mama got me mad and my bills are stacking up quick. Now I gotta quit smoking for my PO trip. So I'm out on the grind trying to make me a grip so I can pay that bitch. And that, my friend, is the start of the list that's got no end. Most days I'm cool and I ain't even fun. Other days I'm bad because someone push my button, so you best stay clear. If that's the case, Dizzy Devil, no rapper, better give me some space. Yeah, clear the path, I'm on the way. These thoughts in my head like a loaded gate.
7 deadly sins that's plagued all of humanity from the beginning of time. It is not prejudice against anybody, for it attacks and it plagues the smallest to the greatest, the poorest to the richest. And it all started with pride. You see, in the beginning, God created an angel named Lucifer, which was one of the most beautiful creations that the Father ever created. Lucifer was such a beautiful angel, praised above everyone, above all. But when God created humanity, he wanted Lucifer to bow down to humanity. Lucifer wasn't having it. He felt he was higher than God. So he actually challenged God's authority and was kicked out of heaven for that. So ever since then, pride has plagued all of the creations of man. You know, for me, personally, I've dealt with pride issues in the past. You know, they called it brown pride, orgullo mexicano, black power, white supremacy, whatever you want to call it. It got a name, which is pride. It's a lot more different than saying, oh, I'm proud of you, son, or I'm proud of what I did. You know, this is actually separation from God. Thinking that you don't need God. God doesn't exist. And you know, when I was out here thugging, wilding out, you know what I'm saying, a hustler lifestyle, you know, I used to be on that, man, fuck God. We ain't on that Jesus shit over here, homie. We ain't rocking that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't trying to hear none of that. People come knocking, handing me flyers of religion. I crumble those up and throw them like, hey, man, I ain't trying to hear none of that garbage out your mouth, man. I wasn't living my life like that, you know, and God forgive me, you know what I'm saying, and repent about that. But maybe you've had pride issues too, where you feel God doesn't exist and you don't need God. Like you got shit 100, you're sold. You feel like you're the God, you know? Like your shit don't stink and everybody's beneath you. You know what I'm saying? That's pride right there. And pride is something that God had to work in my life and get that out of my soul, out of my heart, man. Because it really did have me plagued for many years. You know, and today, by the grace of God, I don't walk in that light no more. He's really humbled me. You know, I lost my apartment. I lost my cars. I lost my money, my family, my freedom. I almost lost my life. And I've lost my sanity several times and got it back. So, that's how he was able to justify that and work it out. Envy. We'll move on to the sin of envy. And envy, this is another tricky sin you're going to watch, you know. Envy will have you real jealous of your best friend, of your brother. You know what I'm saying? It will have you feeling like Cain did Abel. You know? Feeling like, man, I want what you have. You are less qualified than me. I am better than you. Why do you have more than I? You might be jealous of your neighbor, you know what I mean? I never really much dealt with jealousy and envy like that. But I can't remember instances in the past where I felt that the people I was buying my dope from, that they should be buying it from me. I felt that they were inferior, that they, you know what I'm saying, that they were soft, that they just weren't cut out for that. But yet I'm over here buying dope from them. And I'm not talking all the people I bought dope and work from. Because there's some solid people that I used to do business with that I didn't see that way. But there has been people in the past I bought shit from, and I just looked at them like that. So we move on to gluttony. Now gluttony is a very disgusting, very filthy sin that I honestly never really had a problem with. except around the holidays and birthdays, you know, when I just want to scarf down a little more than I should. But it's like this, homie. You're wanting to eat as much as you can. You go to the buffets and you find yourself, you know, staying there a few hours and scarfing down about 10, 12 plates. Are popularly referred to for people that are obese. But it can also mean like just wanting too much sex, wanting too much adrenaline. You find yourself like an adrenaline junkie. You can compare it much to like a crackhead, you know, that just wants that next fix, that next hit, and they just can't get enough. So that's something that, you know what I'm saying, has plagued humanity also. Many people here running around there here with that sin as well. Alright, so we move on to the next one, which is anger. And this is another one that, you know, is has been a very big problem in my life, you know. From the beginning of my life to now, it's like it's only gotten worse. And it's something that I have to combat through prayer, fasting. I even have to start listening to some more chill music, like jazz, harmony music, you know, just take it a lot more easy. I've also joined the boxing gym. I'm out here boxing, and that's helping. You know, working out consistently, eating right, all that helps, you know. But the number one thing that gets me really ticked off is these pedophiling sex offenders. You know, grown men that be molesting little children, man. That's one thing that I have no love for. I have no respect for. You know what I'm saying? So when I see little articles through my Facebook about this crap, it really has me just ticked off, man. And I feel like putting some rounds in a couple of cats, man. So that really is a problem for me. That God has to iron that out with due time. So it's also like, you know, it can creep up on me for certain times and periods, because I'm a very loner type of guy. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of family. I don't be kicking it with all kinds of people, you know. So when I find myself, you know, in these modes, in these moments, I really need to just crank it up a notch and get that out of my system, man, because I could start taking it out on the wrong people, on my loved ones, you know. So we move on to the next one. Greed. Greed has been a big problem for your boy Jay also in the past, man. It's like this, homie. When I was a young buck and I got introduced to the dope game, it really had me seeing dollar signs. I was infatuated with the lifestyle. I was in love with it. I aspired to be a dope dealer. So all the money I had, it just was never enough. I was never satisfied. I always wanted more and more and more. And this is the number one sin that had plagued me my whole life until I surrendered to God and I gave up my drug dealing ways. And I said, I'm not going to live for more money. I'm not going to live to be rich, to be a millionaire. My dream was always to become a millionaire, to have mansions, Ferraris, and all that. That's what I wanted. That's what I aspired to be. So much so that I caught 20 different cases. You know what I mean? Or over 20 different cases. You know, this was the reason why. Greed. I could not surrender the fact that, hey, I'm going to make these millions. You know what I mean? I'm going to get this money regardless, man. So when I surrendered to Christ, that all disappeared, man. I was satisfied. I was quenched. My appetite was satisfied. He released me from the chains that had me bound deep into my soul. If you watch my first video that I posted on my channel back in June, I give a full description of what it was like, you know, and words do no justice when I tell you guys that God set me free from this sin. It does no justice, but I'll try and be as deep as I possibly can. I had chains that were bound deep into my soul, that just cut deep into it. It wouldn't let me go for years until I surrendered to Christ and He was just and tore them off of me. And I was satisfied. You know, I can honestly sit here and tell you, if I never make millions in my life, I'm going to die a happy man. I'm straight, homie. I don't need millions. I don't need Ferraris and Lamborghinis and diamonds and all that shit like I used to want. And other people, if you have all that shit, that's cool for you, man. Do your thing, man. But for me, I've been satisfied. I got all the diamonds, mansions, and Ferraris in my heart, man. I got a heart made out of gold, homie, which is not something that too many people got. So we move on to the next sin. The next sin, sloth. I never honestly had too much of a problem with sloth, man. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sloth. I never had too much of a problem with this, being lazy. I was always a rock and roll type of guy. Anybody that knows me can vouch for this and tell you, man, that boy Young Jay, that boy wild as hell, man. I caught my first case when I was 13 in the juvenile system, you know what I mean? And that should tell you to speak volumes. 20 different juvenile arrests, and several different adult charges, man. I was running through the streets like a freaking hurricane, homie. Like a Tasmanian devil through the cities, homie. Through the neighborhoods of Laredo. So, sloth is just something I can't really relate to, man. Other than days where I'm just feeling really tired and just want to watch Netflix. Which are rare. I don't normally do shit like that. Just laid up in the house, being lazy and doing nothing. Can't even roll out of bed. But if you're dealing with that, man, I encourage you to seek a higher power in different ways. And let's just keep it frank, man. There's several ways you can attack that, man. You can turn to God. You can get inspirational support. You can get into a community, get involved, man. I encourage you. So we move on to the last and strongest sin that I've dealt with that I'm still having a problem with to this day. Is lust. You see, I've always been infatuated by the female anatomy. I have a strong passion for beautiful women, of all different shapes, sizes, and colors, and all that. So, lust to me, in the past, I was a very unfaithful, a lying, cheating dog to my lady. And many people that can't relate to me because they don't have that problem with lust, they look at me with disgust, with, with a non-respectful manner, because they can't relate to me. They don't understand that. But for guys that do understand that, and even to some ladies that understand me too, because they be flirting with everybody, trying to have sex with just as many men as they can, you might be able to relate. I love women so much that it caused me to cheat, because they smiled at me, we vibing, we having a good time, it's happened, and unfortunately it's something that I still struggle with to this day. But, the last time I cheated on my lady, I honestly felt a guilt like I had never felt in my whole life, where I literally started crying, bro. I felt like a piece of shit, man. And it's crazy because this was a beautiful woman. She was nice looking. Everything was really good up until I actually committed the sin. When I committed this sin, bro, I just felt, a disgust like I had never felt. I was ashamed of myself. And I cried out to God and I told him that I was a worthless piece of shit. I was like, you've given me a beautiful family, some beautiful children, and what have I done? I've dishonored them. I've dishonored you. I don't deserve them, Father. You know what I mean? I was like, please save me from myself. I can't do this no more. And the temptation has not gone away. And it's gotten a little easier, but it definitely has not gone away, man. It's something I'm still dealing with. So, out of all the 7 deadly sins, I'd say the ones I still deal with are anger, first and foremost, and then lust. All the other ones, they've either non-existent or they've been satisfied and quenched. I've been released from. I'd say the runner-up after that would be pride. So I got, anger, lust, and pride that I'm still working on. How about you? What do you find yourself working on? What are you trying to see the power of God release you from? You know, because let's just keep it 100, man. Let's say you're watching this video, right? And you find yourself, you don't believe in God. You know, you've never felt his presence. And matter of fact, you don't even care about it.